Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Musings. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute. And in these morning sessions, as I enjoy 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 cups of coffee, I'm sharing with you my journey to the full preterist view. I was raised a fifth-generation member of the amillennial world, and debated from that perspective, but to be honest about it, in my preparation to debate against the dispensational view, while I was an amillennialist, I came upon issues that just did not jive, did not work with my amillennialism, and so it was really, really challenging. I've shared with you over the last couple of segments the motif of the wedding and the wedding feast, and boy, thanks for all of the personal emails. Thanks for the response. You know, folks, this issue, this relationship, this theme and motif is one of the most important to help us understand the book of Revelation. It's one of those themes that just rocked my world as an amillennialist. Because remember, as an amillennialist, I was raised believing that Revelation was about the fall of Rome in 476 A.D., and then ultimately the destruction of the Roman Catholic Church at the end of time. Now that's sometimes called the Reformed view. And, you know, I felt perfectly comfortable with that until I actually started looking at the text and discovered it just wouldn't work. Let me share something with you. Very clearly, Revelation chapter 19, verse 6 and 7, at the fall of Babylon, it says, "Let us rejoice and be glad, for the time of the wedding has come." This is about the wedding. There's no question about it. Revelation chapter 21, 1 to 2, I saw the new Jerusalem coming down from God out of heaven as a bride adorned for her husband. So yeah, it's about the wedding. Well, here's something that's just really, really staggering. In Matthew chapter 22, Jesus told the parable of a great man who made a wedding feast for his son, sent out his servants to call those who had already been invited. That's the force of the Greek. Those who had already been invited killed the servants sent to them. This enraged the master. He sent out his armies, killed those wicked men, and burnt their city. Now, you're not going to find hardly any commentary that says that's not the sending of God's prophets to Jerusalem and Israel, the prophets being slain by Israel and Jerusalem, and God destroying Jerusalem in AD 70. Okay, where do we get another wedding? Where do we get another wedding feast? Where do we get another situation? You see, in Revelation, we have an unfaithful bride who is a harlot. I'll say more about that later. And the prophets have been sent to her. She has slain those prophets. Now, boy, here's a key. Here's a key. Jesus, speaking of Jerusalem, said, "Behold, I send to you apostles and prophets and wise men. Some of them you shall scourge, crucify, chase from city to city, that upon you may come all of the blood of all of the righteous, from Abel unto Zacharias." Now, very clearly, Jesus said he was going to send his prophets to Jerusalem, and Jerusalem was going to kill them. But here's a key. This is really important. And in my book, Who is This Babylon?, I give all of the evidence for this. And remember, I'm offering a 25% discount to anyone who orders the book off of my websites and mentions that you saw this ad and this offer on YouTube. But here's the key. Anytime in the New Testament that you see the term the prophets, or simply prophets, without a contextual qualifier, okay, like 1 Corinthians chapter 12, Ephesians chapter 4, etc., which clearly identifies them as the prophets of Jesus, and you know it really wouldn't make much difference, but I'll maybe say something more about that at a later period of time. But again, anytime you see the word prophet or the term the prophets, in the New Testament, without that contextual qualifier, it is invariably Old Testament prophets. So, Babylon in Revelation had slain the prophets. Revelation 16:6 and following. Well, here's a kicker. Rome never killed one single Old Testament prophet. And oh, by the way, Babylon, i.e. supposedly the Roman Catholic Church, never killed one Old Testament prophet. No Old Testament prophet was ever sent to Rome to say, time for the wedding has come. No Old Testament prophet was ever sent to the Roman Catholic Church to say, all things are ready, come to the feast. No. The city to whom the Old Testament prophets were sent, speaking of the wedding, the city to whom Christ's apostles and prophets were sent to say, all things are ready, come to the feast, was none other than Old Covenant Jerusalem. You see, Babylon is Rome. Babylon is the Roman Catholic Church, and most assuredly Rome as New York City or America, I'm sorry, just won't work. God sent His prophets to Israel and Jerusalem. Israel and Jerusalem killed the prophets. Israel and Jerusalem was Babylon. Well, we'll have more to say about this and other segments, I'm sure. In the meantime, thanks for joining me for Morning Musings. We'll see you on the flip side.